Coming up in this video, we have our Speed 1994 30th anniversary special, and we'll be discussing our memories of the film and reacting to our favourite moments from the 90s action classic starring Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock and Dennis Hopper. Right then, we've got a bus to catch, so let's get going!
Come on!
It launches like a rocket off there!
Where are the rocket boots on this thing? Whoa.
Hello there and welcome back to Enigmatic Retro Rewind.
Hey. I'm
joined with Johann.
Hi.
And it's the 30th anniversary of Speed.
That's gross. 30 years.
Every time we do an anniversary episode, we say how gross it is.
We're so old.
Yeah, so we've got to talk about Speed from 1994.
Yes.
And I kind of just, we've reacted to some clips, haven't we? Our favourite scenes from Speed.
Whoa! That is so much explosion.
That haircut is literally an Action Man hair, isn't it? Haircut. It's like felt. Almost looks like felt.
It does a bit, doesn't it?
Action Man. Now with eagle eyes that actually move.
So I'll ask you first. What are your memories of this movie? Did you? Probably because of the age, neither of us probably watched it at the cinema.
Didn't watch it in the cinema, and then when we were reacting, I think that was the first time I've ever seen the trailer.
Yeah, it was interesting, that was actually.
Yeah! Whoa, I love the explosions.
Why are they messing with me? Do they think I'm doing this for fun?
The trailer is just at 90% explosions.
It's explosions and people shouting, which is kind of exactly what this movie is to a degree. So it made me think like I'd never seen the trailer, so I'm trying to remember how did I watch it, and I know very easily how. My dad had a big VHS collection as a kid.
Okay.
He used to have, we used to call the chest. So he'd have a chest full of VHS tapes down there, and Speed was one of them. So when I was getting into action movies at the age of 8 and 9, around that time, around maybe when I was 10 or something, my dad bought Speed, and it's like, and my dad's like, you like Die Hard, right? So, of course I do. Then you're gonna love Speed.
When I find you.
Pop quiz, hotshot. There's a bomb on a bus.
Dennis Hopper steals the show in this movie. He is so sinister and it's really well acted from him.
I know,
isn't
right?
it?
50. It blows up. What do you do?
Dun dun dun.
What was this? I'm trying to picture this chest. Was it literally like a pirate's treasure chest?
To me, it felt like that.
Yeah.
To me, it felt like that. Well, for Dad, it was just like a cabinet. But it was honestly, it's like a big chesty thing. You have to lift up the top, and all of it's in there.
My uncle had a similar chest, but it was CDs.
Oh, okay.
So he had
so many CDs in that chest.
Was my introduction to metal. He had loads of metal CDs in a wicked chest.
Hardcore. Maybe this may be the reason why I got into it more, because it's like oh, VHS, it's in a chest, and so I remember watching it, and I fell in love with it after watching it because it kind of sums up how Speed is like to me. It's so over the top and silly at points that 10-year-old me thought it was the coolest thing on the planet.
Tune Man. This number plate.
Tune Man. Love this man. He has been in so many movies, really, but he like in bit parts.
Yeah.
In so many of them. Is that crazy person?
Sure has a hard on for this bus.
What a phrase! It's like, uh-oh.
Here we go.
Dun dun dun.
It's armed.
Oh my god.
The original bus driver,
Yeah.
it looks like he's got similar hair to Sandra Bullock.
Same wig.
It's like you have to have that hairstyle to drive the bus.
I know, right? The thing is, you have to tell him he can't slow down, so obviously he's gonna stop.
So they didn't see it, but then they see it.
Dun, dun, dun.
For me, this was like a blockbuster rental.
We were walking in circles. We're still dizzy. I never want to see them all again, ever. I just want to stay here and watch a movie.
Take a holiday from shopping. Make it a blockbuster night.
Whiz, hot shot. There's a bomb on a bus. If it drops below 50 miles an hour, it blows up. What do you do?
Keanu Reeves, Speed, on sale now from Fox Video, rated R.
It was actually one of those really popular titles. So in Blockbuster, even though they had like a wall of copies, you'd be lucky if they had one available when you went in. So it's kind of one of those that you had to probably book and reserve a copy. But like it was, so watching it on video, like renting it multiple times, and also TV as well. This movie was on TV all the time.
Yeah.
So I'd watch it any time it was on, and then you might even tape it off the TV, kind of thing. Yeah.
Speed was one of those films that was always on TV, but it was always. I think it's because of the advert or whatever it is. I'm convinced things were sliced off a little bit here and there, like a little trimming in order to fit it for television.
Yeah.
Because this is the kind of movie that would randomly play at about 3 in the afternoon. This wasn't like the action movie that played at night. This was the 3 in the afternoon action movie. I think maybe the reason why it was able to be 3 in the afternoon is because, you know, this movie, I know from doing a little bit of research that Speed had some things dubbed over.
God damn it, Mac! We gotta get those choppers out of here! You're fired! Everybody's fired!
Famously dubbed over. You know, because, you know, things had to be sorted out quickly in the edit. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did some ADR and say, like, can you not cuss in this bit, please? Or try to remove, or to say something different in order to avoid to make the TV version of it, you know?
Yeah.
Like Melon Farmer and Scarface kind of thing.
They were always a classic.
You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be surprised if they did something with that with Speed.
Yeah, so let's talk a bit about Keanu Reeves first in this film. Like, what do you think of his performance in this movie?
He's good in it. It's weird though, because before then he was always the teen heartthrob, or he was just doing sort of the indie movie stuff. Like he was just on the cusp of it. He also did Bram Stoker's Dracula, but let's not talk about that.
I know where the bastard sleeps. I brought him there. To Carfax Abbey.
Guess how old Keanu Reeves was?
In that movie? In here?
When he made this?
Must have been like in his mid-20s, right?
29? Nearly, it came out when he was 30.
So there he is, late 20s, because you told me that he's like nearly 30 at this point.
Yeah, and I think he's playing early 20s, isn't he?
But he's got that baby face. Like he looks eternal now. Like he looks like he's a time traveler.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it is because of the attitude or the lines or whatever it is, but it feels like it fits him perfectly because he's emoting just the right amount, but he's also emoting way too much, and he's also not emoting enough. Oh my God! Oh God! No God! But at points, whatever the performance is, it works.
Yeah. I mean, it's a movie where the actor needs to be really physical, and he's really good at acting.
Yeah.
Stunts and stuff like that. Obviously, he's proved that in like John Wick and things like that.
Yeah.
So he's, I don't know, I think he's well suited for it. And when I remember seeing it as a kid, I was thinking, I want to be him. He
does look really cool. Yeah. I think the character really suits him. I think that's the thing, because at some point he is overreacting as all hell, but it works for the scenario. I mean, we were joking in the scene about how he just keeps dramatically, aggressively turning around, looking angry at the phone, right?
Yeah.
But then there's points where, you know, he's not emoting with his voice, but he's sounding stern, and he's always sounding very calm, or being a bit snarky. Whatever it was, I'm not sure whether it's a director's, you know, direction for him, whatever, but it fits.
Yeah.
Really well. And so yeah, it was a home run for me.
And he has to keep up with the intensity of Dennis Hopper.
Here he is. Dennis Hopper's really holding his own in this.
Considering he's like probably like twice his age.
Yeah, he's really holding his own.
He's the highlight of this movie for me.
1000%.
He's like, if you think about all the pop culture sort of memorable stuff from this movie.
Chat, yes.
That is now an iconic pop culture line.
Everyone uses it, even if they have no idea where it came from.
Pop quiz hot shot. That is him. And a lot of the sort of the crazy stuff that he does in this movie is what you remember the most.
Yes.
I think.
Oh yeah, totally. He's, you know, all the stuff he says, his mannerisms, the thing with the lift, the thing at the end, you know, everything in Shoot the Hostage. You know, all of this relates to his performance, and I don't think Speed would have done as well if it wasn't done, if the film wasn't done by Dennis Hopper.
I know. I'm just trying to think of another actor who you'd put in that role that would be as good, and it's really difficult because you can't picture anyone else doing it, can you?
Yeah, because it's like the villain itself is balancing a line between disgruntled employee, basically, you know, so he has to be relatable, but he's also a bit mad. And so you need a bit of both. Yeah. Like, he needs to be relatably mad, and so Dennis Hopper kind of fits that. You know, we've seen him do mad. We saw him in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yes.
So we know this. But here, it's just the right level that we can sympathize with his reasonings as to why he's doing it, but also, like, stepping back going, yeah, we get why you're doing this, but you're a bit much here. So, perfect selection for that.
Yeah, and okay, so if we talk about Sandra Bullock as well in this, she's just playing like what she does in a lot of movies, and this era especially. She's just playing sort of the lovable, kind of relatable sort of girl next door. Yeah. That is in a crazy situation.
Yeah.
But she's also, as she's one of those characters as well that she can't really do a lot of self without being either directed by Keanu Reeves or like the hero has to help her constantly.
She doesn't seem to have a lot of urgency herself.
Shh, what do I do? Officer! What do I do? Which way? Which way?
Get on the shoulder.
Okay.
But I think, like, you're in that situation, a bit more urgency, a little bit more upfrontness. I get that all the characters, which is really good, by the way, which is one of the best things I love about the film, is that even though it is about these three people, the whole movie is a weird ensemble piece.
Oh my God, we might have died.
Well, you didn't.
I can't think.
You know.
It's okay. If you need to, you go right ahead and vomit.
There's a lot of characters in this movie. And yeah, it all kind of works together.
But they all kind of get a little moment to shine. A lot of side characters. Like, there's a really like funny. We didn't actually react to this clip, but I might put a little bit of it in.
Yeah.
There's the guy that's quite a mild-mannered kind of guy.
Yeah.
And there's a bit where he has to repeat what Keanu's saying on the phone.
Me.
Oh darn.
Basically Cam from Ferris Bueller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in there, which is kind of like, okay. When I remember, because this is the thing, I saw Ferris Bueller before Speed, and I go like, oh, it's you. Oh, so you're fine now. High school was fine for you. But it was great stuff. But then, you know, you got Gigantor and you got all these people there, and you also, even the people in the lift have characteristics. There's enough here that they're not just nothing burgers. There's something in there which makes you feel more sympathetic as to why you want to why you need to stop the elevator or stop the bus or whatever. You got some meat on the bones.
I don't know about you, but like these 90s like disaster action movies are totally like comfort food.
It's
like,
so good.
I love another good example is it's not anywhere near as big as this one, but I love Daylight with Sylvester Stallone.
That is an underrated gem. I genuinely love Daylight. I don't know why, I just really like it a lot.
But it's similar in a way like to this movie where all the side characters get their little moments to kind of be fleshed out, and it's the same where when some of them die and stuff like that, you really feel for them. Like, so it's similar, it's relatable to that movie in that respect.
It's also because you relate with everyone, with Sandra Bullock and all the other side characters, that it allows you to sort of be, I think, a little lenient with the logic in this movie.
Yeah.
Because this movie is dumb. It's like, we gotta have to jump it.
The bus is only supposed to be like going like 50 miles an hour, but it's definitely going like 100 miles an hour here.
It's going faster than most buses will ever go through. That is not 65 miles per hour. Come on!
It launches like a rocket off there.
Where are the rocket boots on this thing? That is movie magic. I'm not talking like, oh, that's stupid. Like, oh, what a weird illogical step or whatever it is. It does have a few of those, but it's not that. It's more like, sure, let's have a bus jump over a giant gap.
Yeah.
Over a motorway, and somehow that works. Doesn't matter logically, doesn't make any sense, but we allow it because it's like that's just lovely. That's just lovely.
Yeah, you just got to suspend your disbelief in these kind of movies because it's once you start questioning it, you're not having fun anymore, are you? You just go, well, that couldn't happen. Well, it doesn't matter that it couldn't happen. Just enjoy the movie because it's crazy.
And that's the thing, is the reason why we don't question it is because we like everybody.
Yeah.
If we were surrounded by people we didn't like, we would hate the movie because we're realizing we don't like anyone here, so we start noticing all the illogical steps. So this is really a really good ensemble piece because if we didn't like any of the performances, didn't like the actors, we would really question the logic in this film.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the director, I guess.
Yes.
It's his first directing debut, isn't it? It's a good debut. I mean, he's got a lot of experience in sort of in cinematography.
Yep. Yeah. So he was mostly a cinematographer, did a lot of action cinematography before he got to do Speed. This movie is a low budget affair. It's like 13 million.
Yeah.
So this was a risk. This was a low budget risk thing that the studio said, oh, go on, this is your first time directing, we'll give you a lower budget action movie. And hiring Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, who weren't that big at the time. Dennis Hopper was the only big get, but Dennis Hopper's career was all over the shop in the 70s and 80s. So they were able to get this done on budget and do it well.
Yeah.
And you can see that in his directing. He knows how to shoot action really, really well. It was that job that got him the Twister job.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of cool cinematography in this movie, so you can tell that it's directed by an action cinematographer. There's a lot of because this is a time where CGI wasn't really used, so a lot of it's going to be like practical stuff. And I love the fact that they had one of the buses, it had like a rig on the front of the bus, so the camera crew are just like right in the front of the bus all the whole time, so you get some really good sort of action shots of the people in the bus while they're driving around. And there's like another rig that was inside the aisle of the bus that we could kind of quickly go on rails up and down the bus.
They had like 6 buses. One which is legitimately just a bus, by the way, like nothing weird. We got a bus, and then like 5 different stunt buses.
Couple just to explode.
Yeah, some just to explode. One which I think you told me, which is like
the speed bus. The
speed bus, where it's incredibly light inside. There's nothing in it other than just something to look decorative, and it zooms through to go like 100 or however stupid miles per hour, because there's no way that bus was going under 65 and being able to jump over that motorway unless it is rigged with nitro, you know?
And another one I remember seeing on the making of was the steering controls, and like it could be operated on the roof. So, like, the people inside didn't need to be concerned about actually driving it.
Yeah.
It was driven by the top.
And you know what? That makes perfect sense. And that makes perfect sense when you look at Sandra Bullock's driving.
Yeah.
Go on, turn! Oh my God! Jeez!
Tipping.
That is. It's so good.
That's such a poster shot, you know, when the bus is tipped on the side. Like.
This entire movie has like action poster material.
But she does do some of the driving, but
yes.
like in the other buses that actually have to be driven.
Yeah.
But that particular bus where they probably used it quite a lot.
Yeah.
Where the driver is actually on top of the bus.
Yeah. It's probably in the close-up like shots where they like when she's talking to Keanu and vice versa.
Yeah, not looking at the road at all.
not even looking at the road. Like not even turning. We have no idea where we are in this place. But yeah, it's really good stuff. Can we talk a little bit about the first sequence actually? So we'll talk about the lift scene because I really like a lot of the lift scene. But it does introduce one scenario. It starts introducing the idea of Keanu Reeves is a little bit mad, right?
Yeah.
Because shoot the hostage?
All right, pop quiz. Airport. Gunman with one hostage. He's using her for cover. He's almost to a plane. You're 100 feet away.
Nice.
What do you think? Shoot the hostage.
It's such a dumb answer. It doesn't work.
Clear shot.
You're deeply nuts, you know that?
Takes a psycho to take out a psycho.
Right. The answer would be a flat out no, right? You don't shoot the hostage, even though he wouldn't expect it. Yeah, because that's insane.
Yeah, he's got to be a bit crazy. They often have that though, like especially in this era. Like, remember how crazy like Riggs was in Lethal Weapon?
That's fair.
Hey, you want to see crazy? I'll tell you.
So you kind of often had that, like they're a bit unhinged, but that's how they get the job done.
It's showing off that he's a maverick, right? Quite literally. So the idea is like I do the unexpected because if I do the unexpected, I get things done. Instead of following the rules, because if you did try and follow the rules for the bus thing, you would never get anything done because there's too much paperwork or too much whatever. We'd never be able to stop it in time.
Yeah.
So it's like, fudge it, I'm going to steal a car and I'm going to drive it through. I'm going to have to stop this bus and jump onto the bus and take over the bus, everything. Like, if it was done by police procedural way, we would never get on the bus.
Yeah. This movie as well, it reminds me a bit of Die Hard with a Vengeance. It's kind of got that energy, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's, you know, you've got a series of like sort of explosive situations, like to do with bombs, where the one leads, like obviously it starts with a lift kind of scene, that's to do with a bomb, and then it goes to the bus, and then the sequence ends up on a train, doesn't it? Like the movie ends up with a train.
Yeah, it ends up on the underground, doesn't it? It ends up like in the subway.
It's got that kind of vibe where you go from one place to the next and it's all related to like bombs going off and stuff like that.
And what's interesting is that it's done very well, because this is again, talk about the pacing of the movie as well, is why we love this movie. The movie's paced very well, is that there are 3 different scenarios, and all 3 scenarios are Act 1, Act 2, Act 3.
Yeah, it's nice and neat.
It's very neat. It is. It doesn't allow itself to get fat a bit. It's quite lean. You can watch the whole thing, no problem.
Yeah. I want to go over and talk about the ending again as well, actually, before we sort of close out, because I just had to have us react to that.
I think Dennis Hopper's like, I don't know, he's just got like magical Dennis Hopper strength. Like this is not, this would go so the other way around.
I'm the guy with the plan, because I'm smarter.
Here we go.
Yeah!
I'm taller.
Gotta be the best comeback.
Yeah, but I'm taller.
I love that fight where like Dennis Hopper is really holding his own.
100%. That man has been lifting because really he wouldn't be able to pull up that much of a fight
The only leverage he's got is he's got that metal controller for the bomb.
Yeah.
And he's got that, and he's using it as a weapon. He keeps punching Keanu with that metal controller, which I'm sure would break his control.
But again, logically, do not overthink this movie. But yeah, Dennis Hopper is out walloping this guy. Sure, this guy's been through a lot.
Yeah.
Like he is, because I love that this is all within a span of a day, by the way. This is a day. So he got the lift thing, he did the lift thing, after the lift, a while later, there's the bus thing. So he had to go through the entire bus scenario, and then has to do this thing.
Yeah.
He's exhausted. We'll go with that logic. But despite that, I love the bit afterwards that Dennis Hopper's, getting walloped down, and he goes and then says, like, I am smarter than you. I will always outdo you. I am better than you. He does the monologue.
It's a cheesy villain kind of speech, isn't it?
You do not do it at this time. This is not the appropriate time to go and do your bad villain speech, even though he's done this. He has a few villain speeches throughout the movie. He has it like 4 times. Yeah. 4 different villain speeches.
I mean, I just love the fact that we have a decapitation in a 15. It's quite sort of a comical one. It doesn't. There's not. It's not just like grisly or anything, is it? It almost looks like a clean model. The head just kind of falls off.
Yeah, like it's clean off. Yeah. No blood. And head goes off, and I think you're surprised when that happens, but because Keanu literally says the line, "Yeah, but I'm taller," right afterwards, you don't notice it.
Is that the only kind of like? Is that the only sort of one like Arnie style one-liner in the movie, or is there other? I'm trying to remember.
I think there are a few.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are a few. Like for example.
Oh, wait a minute. What are you doing? Are you insured? Yeah. Why?
Yeah. There are a few one-liners in the movie, but because the rest of the script doesn't feel very one-linery, although there's definitely some jokes in here. There's definitely some jokes. Like there is not like it's not like it's not funny. There's definitely jokes. It's not like an instant amount of one-liners every time. So when they do it once in a while, it's like, oh, funny.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
Anything else you want to talk about with Speed?
With Speed, well, there's not much else with Speed. One of the first things I really liked was the soundtrack. There's not a lot of music in this per se. It's got a really good composition and so on. But the end credits is Billy Idol's Speed.
Speed, give me what I need. Yeah, what I need.
And I cannot lie, I genuinely loved it as a kid. I thought it was the coolest sounding thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
Such a good track. It was one of the first ones to say, like, I want to get the song. So I was able to find the single and listen to it again, and it was great. That's a vivid memory for some reason. For a while, that was like the coolest song I ever heard. It came from a movie soundtrack in the credits. You don't even hear it throughout the movie. It's in the credits, so you have to sit there and listen to it.
Well, that's often the case, though, especially with this era. The song associated with the movie only sometimes played in the credits.
Is that sort of like the sneaky way of getting like fans of people to come in? And it's like, oh, Billy Idol. Oh yeah, Billy Idol fans, come in. You're waiting to hear it like played in context. It doesn't. It appears in the credits and like, but it doesn't make any context to it.
I mean, I'll give you another example, like Batman Forever.
Yeah.
Kiss from a Rose. You'd think that would appear throughout the movie, like in in the score and everything, like elements that would be in the score. It should have been, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it only appears in the credits. That's the only time.
So weird because it is like the most iconic song in like ever.
Yeah.
It only appears in the credits.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for me on Speed. Like from the start, it was one of those VHSs that my dad bought, and we watched it I watched it way too many times to the point that it started to decay a little bit because of how much times I was watching it. It's like my mini pile of VHSs I had on repeat.
I didn't own the movie before. I've recently picked it up on 4K, so I'll show you some pictures of the 4K case and stuff like that.
Pretty.
But I didn't even own it on DVD or like VHS or anything like that. So this is definitely one of those movies that I just rented a lot and watched on TV. But I'm so glad that I now have 4K a bit. I'm looking forward to watching the 4K.
It's going to be mad in 4K, and to see all those practices, so many explosions in 4K.
Yeah.
Woo! It's going to be beautiful.
Right, so guys, what's your thoughts on Speed? Is it one of your favourites? And what's your favourite scene from Speed? Let us know in the comments. And we'll see you soon.
Adios.
Fancy supporting Retro Rewind in the best possible way? Head over to buymeacoffee.com/Harvey Retro and choose from 2 options to unlock exclusive full movie and album commentary videos by yours truly and guests. Select membership and join Harvey's AV Club for £3 a month. Trivia, anecdotes, and even drinking games will be on the cards with these special commentary episodes. Or, if you'd rather, just say thank you without joining the club, select support and buy us a VHS tape, which is a single £5 contribution, and don't forget to tell us which classic you're adding to our library, as it might inspire me to review that movie in future. And that's it.